Hi guys, I haven't made a video in a while, but I wanted to get back to you. I did some work on a boat, I don't know, a month and a half ago or so. A friend of mine was having problems with his a little runabout and had a 4.3 in it, and they did a tune-up on it last fall. Never used it much. Went to take it out, and it wouldn't plane out. It got like 2,800 RPMs. He calls me over and says, "Hey, this thing's not going." We took it out. Sure enough, couldn't get anything to go. Pulled it back in the slip, pulled the plugs out, and they all looked like they were firing, all except one. But I never saw any aha moments. The motor kind of ran good. So I'll read to you what I did, and then this is what I did. It was a 4.3 GXI-E Volvo Penta, vintage around 2000 something. I can't remember what it was. Engine was previously tuned, low power, trying to plane out. Idle was a bit rough, but you can advance RPMs easily at idle, but not in gear. And when trying to plane out less than 3,000 RPMs, also some backfiring. So that's what I had. Basically, couldn't get it up. You had throttle response at idle. You could run it all up to 3,000-4,000 RPMs sitting there, but as soon as you put a load on it, it wouldn't go. So we checked for obvious problems, pulled the plugs. Again, it said one wasn't firing. Clean fuel regulator, some debris, then reinstalled and test drove, same results. Found engine room foam insulation falling apart and being sucked into the throttle body. Removed all the old foam, then removed the throttle body and cleaned the inside of the manifold as best I could. Using some B12, we ran B12 injector through it, test drove it again, and it did actually get back on plane, albeit struggling, and no backfiring. I could get it up to about 4,000 RPM, so I didn't have any backfiring after I cleaned the throttle body out. So it tells me I had junk in there. So we discussed and troubleshot some more, and we're confident it was the injectors weren't working as they should. Tore down the top side to access, remove the fuel rail and all 6 injectors, packaged them up, sent for test cleaning, got them back, reinstalled, and got the boat back up and running. So in this video, what you're going to see is from the start to the beginning, or the beginning to the end, is that this thing was not running. I went to YouTube University, found as much as I could. There's some good, very valuable input in there on how to tear these apart. I didn't go into details as much as some other places are because you can't get that information out there. But I am telling you, there was foam in this, the foam insulation in the engine compartment. The dust was getting sucked into the engine, and it caused it to lack power. So you'll see the injectors; they were just sooted up. My thought from a mechanic, shouldn't have, because the fuel was on the outside and should be pushing down, but somehow it got back in there, and you'll see the injectors, they're all black, they're horrible. So I sent those out, pulled them out, talked to the guy up at the injectors place, and he was confident that he could make these work, and it was much cheaper. I think these were 150 plus the seals and stuff each if you were to buy them brand new. He did recommend do not go to eBay and get these off brands, use OEMs. So my option was to send the OEMs out and get them back and put them back in, and I got them back with new seals, lubed them up, popped them all back in, and boat is running like a top. So I hope this helps you out, because this could help you in troubleshooting, because it's not always the engine. The engine didn't cause this. That engine would have been fine had it not had the foam padding that is used as a sound barrier in the engine room not deteriorated. That was an error from the manufacturer, but you'll see it. Read the video and enjoy. Take care. Yeah, YouTube. Today we got this cute little boat with a Volvo Penta V6. Newer one, fuel injected, and apparently when they run this, it's lacking power when you put it in and try to plane out, and it's not getting any. It runs good at idle, but it lacks power, and we couldn't plane out yesterday. I was out with them, and they said, let's take it for a ride. I went out with it, and you could get a couple thousand, 4,000 RPMs at idle, but when you took it out and put it in gear, it would spit and sputter, a little bit of backfire, and just didn't want to take off. So
There's a few things I've found on YouTube University to check on this, and it's a fuel regulator, which is this little bugger right down there. And there's a fuel filter right here, and then there's high and low pressure pumps. And we're going to go check into this. Apparently these are notorious for a paint problem getting into the fuel. So that's what we're going to look for first. Started it. It's been a little rough and idle. When it brings up, it's pretty smooth, but I have to see what's going on. Just throttle response here. Idle. It's looking good. Get it up on the idle. But it runs rough right down there, so I'm going to see what's going on. So, first thing we did with this low power is we disconnected this. We pulled this off the fuel pressure regulator. By doing that, what you do is you take this little valve over here and get a rag and release the pressure from it, or use a fuel pressure gauge and hook to it. But you can, there's not much in there. You can take that loose, and then you have this, and that's the inside of it. But here is supposed to be the culprit, is this screen right here. I'm going to try to take that out. This looks a little dirty. I don't know what a good one looks like, so, but we're going to take that out and probably clean it up and see what it does. So, first things first. And here's the after. That's pretty clean. So, we're going to pop that thing in, and then we'll see what it does. So there's our fuel pressure regulator stuff back in there. Try to get this clip back in there. It went in easier than it came out. It was a little stiff coming out. It should pop right in there. And this little thing, it's right on there. All right. And then put the cap back on over here where we took that pressure off. So we get that on there. We should be good to go. And then we're gonna start it back up and we'll see what we did. All right, go back together. Had to take this off, just popped it loose. It was easier to get to this fuel regulator and to take that lift off. The cap is back on for the fuel pressure. You can't hardly see it there. But let's start this bugger up and see if it did anything. All right, over here to this. Turn the blowers on. Let's see what we got. If that's going to do anything or not. May not have done anything. Let's see. All right, so we changed we cleaned the fuel pressure regulator on this Volvo Penta V6 4.3 GXI, I believe it is. And now I'm just going to do a test. I don't think it's going to work because it still sounds like it's running pretty rough, but the filter was definitely dirty. Let's go see. Well, let's see anyway. Let's see if this thing goes. Sure. Still not running right. That's all I can get. I'm not going to go too far with this. That's all she'll get. So I think I may have found the problem with this. I cleaned this 4.3 fuel injected Volvo Penta. Was having a backfire and having a problem getting on plane. The plugs look good. I didn't check compression. It idled but rough. If you brought up the throttle a little bit, it was better. But when you took it out, it would bog and pop and run. What I discovered, I took the air cleaner off. When I started, the air cleaner was really dirty on the outside, so I wiped it off. Still didn't do any good. So I decided I'm going to take it off and look down in here. And what I found was I already wiped some of this off, but it's really, really dirty on here. Like there is something build up on here. And what I discovered, when you look down here, this whole floor is full of this residual from this foam. If you shake this, it's falling apart. This foam is just literally just goes apart. I think it's getting sucked into the throttle body, and I'm thinking down in there the fuel injectors are also clogged up and we're not getting good spray to the cylinders, and therefore it's just bogging. That's my estimate, the obvious first. So I'm back with this 4.3 Volvo Penta fuel injected vintage. Appears the intake has sucked up this powder from this insulation. What we're gonna do, take all this insulation out, and I'm gonna attempt to go in there and try to clean that. I don't know how this is gonna go. I asked around for advice, and I'm hoping I can clean it out. The good thing is it actually is running. The bad thing is we gotta have a bunch of stuff in there. It's real fine, and I got this B12 cleaner, and let's see what we can do. I'm gonna wipe up most of it and then try to clean it out, and then we'll put it back together. And if we have to take the injectors out and the rails, then we'll go to that extent. But for now, we're just gonna try to get one phase of it done at a time. And the first thing is take off the problem, which is the insulation. So noise reduction, whatever you wanna call it. So here's the majority of it out. As you can see, this stuff should not be in the engine compartment. It's just falling apart. It's just not right. That should not be in an engine compartment. The dust that was left over just from taking it out, this is all just loose dust. It just fell apart as you're taking it apart. So all this is going to have to be vacuumed out. And right there is the intake. So, and these are, flame arresters. They're not filters. So the dirt can get sucked through. When you have these out, you can see through them. So this fine of material, when it's going full throttle or sucking in, that's just a big vacuum, and it's getting sucked right in there. So I'm gonna clean this out, get all vacuumed up, and hopefully it runs better. All right, what we're gonna do, try to get this throttle body off. And you can just take this off, and this, and these couple of plugs. It should pop off, and then we can have access, or better access to the bottom. I did get all that loose stuff off, 90% of it anyway. I want to get down into there. All that other stuff I think will be a final cleaning. We'll see how it goes. To the next one. So throttle body is off. Give me a look down inside here. Does not look pretty. It's layers of stuff. I don't know how bad it's going to be. I don't know if we can do this way or not, but we will attempt it and see where it goes. All right, more to come. Throttle body came off really easy. Oh, by the way, I popped that off. It's just show you here. It's like I said, these 3 screws, but there's an O-ring. I'll try to keep that nice. It came off very gently and everything was good. So we'll keep that nice and confined for installation. All right, so we got everything back hooked together. Got the linkage hooked on, the electrical hooked up. I got my 3 bolts tightened, and we got it relatively clean. This B12 says to spray 2 to 3 squirts in there, and then we're going to do that and then run it and see what it does. So hopefully good things will happen. So more to come. So after the last test, we talked about having that foam that was disintegrating and getting into our intake. We cleaned all that out. We got a little better result, but not good enough. I do believe the injectors need cleaning. This is my opinion, and I'm pretty darn sure that's the problem. I consulted some friends, I looked in videos, and pretty sure that's what's going on. We're gonna take this flame arrestor off, 3 bolts here. We'll take this cable off here, and take this off, 2 bolts, loosen that up, slide that out of the way. We're gonna take these rails back here, and we're gonna take this regulator loose, and then there's a couple, and then we've got to take the electrical connectors off the injectors, and a couple bolts for the rails that hold it on. And I can hear the studs, and we'll pop the whole rail system off. And there's a place I'm going to send out the injectors and clean up. But more to come. I wanted to give you all an update, a real quick one on what we're going to do. There's other videos out there on how to show a detailed thing on here. I'm just trying to keep it brief so it's easier for everyone. Show the before and after and what's involved in troubleshooting. All right, update on the video. We disconnected everything that goes to it. We've disconnected the lines, and you have to have this special tool. Actually, it goes in like this, and it slides onto the under the line, pops it loose. So this is a 3/8, so that's what it takes. That's, like I said, that's what you're gonna need, one of those. That's the only special tool. The rest of them are pretty much number 10s. I got these studs out here, 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 and here. This is just laying there loose. All the plugs are off. I numbered them. There's 2, this is 1, and that's 3 back there. And I did the same thing over here. This is 1, 2, and 3. Pretty easy. I don't think you can screw them up. Next step is, they say, is to pop these out, and the injectors should pop out of there. So that's what I'm gonna have to do. So I'll put this on hold till the next video. All right, so we're back with the Volvo 4.3 GXI fuel injector problem. I sent these fuel injectors out to this place right here. It's fuelinjectorexperts.com. They were to clean them, and instead of buying new ones, they clean them and put new seals on, and I'm ready to go. So I had these things out, pulled them out of the box. They were shipped in they were shipped in a box, which was good. They've had everything on U.S. Postal Service, nice and safe, in Ziploc bags, and I just put them out from Ziploc bags. But one thing I did notice, one critique, is, you probably can't see it, a little bit of corrosion in these electrical tips. I think a little bit of care could have been given on these tips. See that? That one shows a little bit more. I'm gonna have to clean those before I go in. But otherwise, we're gonna clean these up, assemble them on the rail, which is down here, clean everything up, put a little bit of lube on the seals, and that'll be the next phase. But I gotta clean those electrical points first. Quick video of these fuel injectors. See the corrosion under there? I gotta clean that out, put some dielectric. I've already done 4 of them, and this is my fifth one, and then this is the 6th one. That one's not too bad, but it got a little bit on it on the positive. But you got to clean that off. You can't just assemble like it. A good mechanic wouldn't do that, nor a good shop shouldn't let it go out of the shop like that. These just allegedly tested, but we'll see how they go. But I got to clean it off. I can't put it on like that. So anyway, more to come. So I got these injectors on. Follow the instructions. Pretty easy. You just have to have these. This would be the up part. They're going to go in like this, and so you have to have these pointing where the electrical hooks up, and then you got these little snaps. There's a groove on the injector. You just follow, and they snap in, and they come in from the inside to the outside on all of them, just like that. Pretty simple, and that's pretty much ready to go in now. And I did clean the insides of all these electrical connectors. Some are a little corroded more, and all I used was I had to use my imagination, because I used a little tiny screwdriver, and clean the corrosion out, blew it out, and then I put some dielectric on just for safe measures, just on the tips, just a little bit. So when we pop these together, everything will work good. So now I got to get inside the engine room down there, and we're going to clean that up and prep it, and then pop these things in. Should be, I'm hoping, in an hour having this thing running. Bye. All right, quick video of the rail installation. We got them all pushed down in. They went in easy. Again, I lubed so you saw they had those cleaned out and lubed, and you pop them down in. You put a stud here, stud here, stud here, stud here. And I remember these aren't painted, so they go there because this mount goes up there, and then there's a couple nuts that actually go on top of here. So if you confuse them, they're all the same. And then all the wirings snapped in, snap, snap, snap. 1, 2, 3. And same over here, 1, 2, 3. All the wires snap, 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 and all these they snap in, and piece of cake. Now we're going to do the assembly. It won't be long now. Here we are again, almost there. So we hooked up our throttle, we hooked up our vacuum, we hooked up our pressure regulator, we hooked up our lines. I had these marked upper and lower. Upper goes to the high pressure, and then the opposite one goes down the bottom. So they just snap in, snap, snap. These wires go here, snap in. That it goes in. Got the little clip that holds that in. Put these hoses back on, and everything except the flame arrestor, I believe. That's it, and then we're ready to run. More to come. All right, here's our moment of truth. The flame arrestor is on, cleaned, cover's back on. This thing's back together, and we're gonna see if it starts. And we will compare notes. Let's see. Sounds a little better, and we're gonna have to see what it does whenever you throttle up. I didn't use any throttle or anything to start it, so we'll have to see how she goes and go from there. More to come when I take her out. All right, we're on the C-Trow here. I got her warmed up. They're good volts. Fuel is full. Oil pressure is good. Temperature's coming up. So I think we're gonna be okay here. Just gonna have to put on plane here, and we'll see what it does. Remember before, when we first started, I could get 2,800, and we did a little bit of cleaning, and I got 4 grand, but it was struggling and popping. So here we go. So far so good. Oh, she's a rocket. That's half throttle. Water skier up here. All right. That's 3 grand, and it's just not even working.
wide open on the back. That's good. I'm gonna call her good.